what? I'm going to go back to school again. And when you come back to school, guess what? Another test of the same type is going to come your way. All of us. It is God's way of saying, let's see if you have learned and grown beyond. Do you remember when Peter told Jesus, Jesus, I'm going to go with you to the cross, to the death, to prison, wherever you go, I'm going to be right there with you. Remember that? That's in the gospel?
Yes. Yes.
Where was Peter when Jesus was being tried before Pilate? Well, Peter was up there warming himself with the enemies. I'm not going to get involved. Let's see what happened. Aren't you one of his disciples? I'm not one of his disciples. Oh, I saw you with him. You're one of those Galileans. I am not. I saw you with Jesus. He started to cuss and swear. Fell away from God in one night. Just a few weeks after telling Jesus, I'm going to be with you, I'm going to stand with you, I'm going to die with you, I'm never going to leave you. In a few weeks, he went from being there to falling away and denying God because he failed the test. 3 times in one night. And just like Peter was restored, we can be restored. That's the good news.
Yes.
But it proves the sincerity. You see, when you are tested, my friend, when you feel as if you're between the Red Sea and Pharaoh's army, you're exactly where God wants you to be. And I know it doesn't seem that way, but God had them exactly where he wanted them. Had they had an easy departure from Egypt, they would have not have experienced the power of God through Moses to part the Red Sea.
Yes. Yes.
And so God brought them to this place where all they could do is to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Amen. So you may find yourself at some point in that situation. What will you do? Some of them said, let us go surrender to Pharaoh's army. Let's go backwards. That's what I'm saying. Let's go back into Egypt. Others turn on Moses, believing, you brought us out here to drown us or to kill us in the wilderness. But others, like Joshua, said, let's just see what God does.
Yes. Yes.
God came through for them as he comes through for us over and over again. But when you're tested, church, and you stay faithful, it proves that you are sincere. Do you know what is the root of the word sincerity? It comes from 2 Latin words. Sincera. Cera in Latin and Spanish is wax. Wax melts away in the heat. Sin means without in Latin and Spanish. So sincerity means without wax. When you have sincere faith, it doesn't melt away. It stays in place. Now, it is for the benefit of the one being tested. It proves the sincerity of the one being tested. Thirdly, it compels the one being tested to exercise his or her faith. How are you going to exercise faith if you're not tested? How are you going to lose those pounds that, holidays are coming up in a few more months, and people tend to eat a lot, myself included. And so January, the fitness clubs membership goes up in January. Everybody wants to join. I want to be getting in shape. I want to work off all the holiday pounds, all the turkey and all of the stuffing and all the potato salad and all the pumpkin pie. I want to work it off. And then by the time the Super Bowl runs around in February, they're back doing the same things. Well, faith demands you exercise it. If you don't exercise faith, church, you don't know if you have it or not.
Yes. That's right.
What kind of a church doesn't want to be tested? A church that doesn't want to exercise in the faith. One day, God may ask you to do something unprecedented. Young people, one day God may ask you to do something that you never expected to do, that you've never done before. And when that day comes, it may actually cost you. Adults, one day God may ask you to do something that costs you. May cost you money. May cost you time. May cost you energy. May cost you relationships. May cost you friendships. It's going to cost you. One day, God is going to put a test square in your lap that you can't miss it, and you're going to know it's from God, and it's designed to see how sincere you are. Now here's how Abraham approached his test. When he was asked to offer up Isaac, Abraham believed that if God killed Isaac, God would resurrect Isaac.
Yes. Yes.
He said, well, Lord, you told me this was the son of the promise. I've waited for him all these years. He was finally born miraculously. His mother's womb was as dead as a Thanksgiving turkey bone from the year 2015. And she still conceived. It was all of you, God. It was miraculous. It was miraculous. And so now you're asking me to offer him up for a sacrifice. It doesn't make any sense. Have you ever encountered something in life that doesn't make sense? And you say, well, I'm a Christian. I'm walking with God. Those are the tests, my friend. When you're doing what is right, when you're trusting in God and you encounter something that doesn't make any sense, God is saying to you, I want you to trust me for something greater.
Yes. Yes.
Because it doesn't make any human sense.
Yes.
In the human mind, this is not something that should be even happening. And humanly speaking, it would not happen. You and I would not think like this, would we? But God does. God doesn't think like a man. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts, and thank God for that. That's why he can forgive wicked sinners. Whereas we would take matters very rapidly into our own hands. Abraham had the faith to believe God beyond his circumstances. What his ears heard, what his eyes saw, did not prevent him from going up to the mountain with Isaac to do with him exactly what God said. But without faith, it is impossible to please God. Hebrews 11:6.
Yes.
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Hebrews 11:2. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that the things which are don't appear from the things which do appear. We know that God created the world by faith. God created us by faith. We walk by faith.
Yes.
We live by faith. We are victorious through faith.
Yes.
If we don't have faith, we can't please God.
Hallelujah.
Now, the second part of this message has to do with the emotions that come our way with the testing. Emotions that come our way with the testing. You can agree with me that each one of us have a certain amount of fear of losing things that we deem to be precious. Don't we? We fear losing things that we hold to be valuable. Don't we?
Yes.
Fear is real. So I'm not going to stand up here and say, oh, I'm never afraid of anything. No, I get afraid many times when I have tests. What's going to happen? But the fear should not overpower the faith.
Yeah.
When you're encountering fear, you exercise faith, and faith says to fear, you cannot win because you're negative. Fear is negative. Faith is positive. And so the negative cannot be victorious over the positive. And so my faith says to my fear, you are going to lose, and the things that I'm afraid of are not going to happen because I believe God is going to take care of me.
Yes. Yes.
But there are these emotions. There's also the misunderstanding of the reason for the test. When you're tested because you're a human being, you may not understand, why is God testing you this way? You know why? Because you do not know what's going to happen tomorrow, next month, next year. You don't know what God is doing. God is setting you up for something. He's placing you in a position. He's giving you some experience. He's working some things in your life. He's putting some things out of your life because down the road, He wants you to be ready for whatever He's going to bring your way.
Yeah.
But you can't see that. So there's misunderstanding in your heart as to why the test is happening. That's why you got to trust God, not lean on your own understanding.
Right.
Then there is fainting in the test. Fainting is failing the test. Fainting has to do with looking at the circumstances, looking at the problems, and deciding, it's not worth it, I'm not going to go through this. Fainting in the test is a direct result of a lack of a sincere prayer life, which was covered in the Sunday school hour. Men are always to pray and not to faint.
Yes.
So the reason why people quit serving God, people take on projects in the church and don't finish it, is because they don't pray and ask God to strengthen them to finish the task. Do you think that you're going to be able to go into a ministry? I don't care if you're doing the nursery. I don't care if you're in the bus ministry, or you're a Sunday school teacher, or you're doing the choir, or you're on the finance board, or you're handling the sound system. Whatever you're doing for the Lord in this church, you need to have a prayer life.
Yes.
Otherwise, you will faint. You'll pass out. And you wonder, whoa, what happened to me? I was 1 week, I was strong. Next week, I'm blown away. Hey, you fainted.
Yes.
You fainted. And when you faint, you don't realize that you faint. Because you pass out, you lose consciousness. So the fainting is very real. It happens to those who do not take the time to seek God's face in the midst of the test.
Yes. Yes.
So the fainting comes. And we don't need to faint. Do you think what's happening now in the world is bad? Wait till the tribulation gets here. And all those demonic creatures are unleashed upon the earth. And you won't have just one or two shootings every night, some unrest here. You won't have just pockets of unrest. This is going to be worldwide. In every town, in every city. So we in this day, in this age, coming up to the end of the age of grace, hallelujah, the age of grace in which man can still serve God, we have the responsibility to strengthen ourselves so that we don't faint in the midst of the trial, because the world is looking at the church to see what are the real Christians going to do as things deteriorate in America. and around the world. Right response to the test. God knows what's best for you. That's the first thing you ought to think when you're going through it. God knows what's best for me. Does he?
Yes.
Or his faith?
Yes.
I trust God with my life. If you got saved, you gave your heart to Jesus, didn't you?
Yes.
So if you trust in Jesus with your heart, your soul to take you to heaven, can you not trust him with tomorrow's problems? God knows what's best for me. And so in the midst of the test, I will commit the problem to God. People want to come into the church and have everything figured out. That's not faith.
Amen.
You cannot figure out that which God has ordained to be worked and established through faith. Now you can plan. You can plan.